candidates tonight. We have Jack Latvala that's running for Senate in District 16. His opponent is Nina Haley. Okay. All right. Jack has a previous commitment, so he's going to go first so he can get on to his next commitment he has tonight. So everybody, please welcome Jack Latvala.
Thank you very much, Eileen. Yes, I am Jack Latvala. I'm running for the Senate District 16, and for those of you that aren't familiar with where District 16 is, it's the other side of 66th Street. So if you live on the other side of 66th Street, from about 13th Avenue north all the way to Oldsmar, then you're in my district. That's the district that's currently held by Senator Justice, who's retiring from that seat to run for Congress, and I'm running for that seat. I'm a small business person, small business owner. My business is just off Ulmerton Road. I've been along the Ulmerton Road corridor in Pinellas County for about 25 years. First in the direct mail business and most recently in the printing business. I have 14 employees. I make a payroll, have all the same pressures that the rest of you that are in the business world have to deal with. I give my employees, or I have a group insurance program for my employees, not because the government told me to do it, but because I thought it was a responsible thing to do in running a good business. And so all these years I've been in the business world there, and have, you know, the same pressures from government, the same concerns. You know, it's a small business that's getting smaller every day, it seems like, with the economy the way it's been over the last year. Several years ago in 1994, I was elected to the Florida Senate, representing North Pinellas County, and served in the Florida Senate for 8 years. And, you know, it was a great experience being in the Senate. I was the majority leader of the Senate during the first term where we had a Republican governor, a Republican state Senate majority, and a Republican House majority all at the same time. And you know, we'd always, for many years, I've been involved in the political process, and for many years I'd said, you know, we could do it different. We could do a better job than the Democrats did when they were running things. We could do it differently than the Democrats did it when they were running things. And then I got to go up there kind of the culmination of my career and involvement in politics and actually be a part of making some very significant changes. You know, we used to have a welfare program in Florida where the more babies, illegitimate babies a person had, the more checks they got from the state government, called AFDC. When I was there, we changed that. We got rid of that. We did welfare to work, and provided the only assistance you got was in child care to prepare you to go and get a job in the workforce. We had a crime wave in Florida. Many of you that have lived here for a long time remember that we had some British tourists one night that stopped at a rest area on I-10 in North Florida and got murdered. And we had tourists who, if they took a wrong turn coming out of the Miami airport, they could end up in serious trouble. And so our economy was suffering because of our perception of Florida as a lawless place to visit throughout the world. And so we did something about it. We had a number of very significant things in the late 90s that we did. The 85% rule, which required that people serve 85% of their sentence. 3 strikes and you're out, basically saying, you know, if you're going to be a repeat offender, you know, by the 3rd time, you're locked up for the rest of your life. And we did the 1020 life bill, which was, says if you use a gun to commission a crime, you know, in increasing penalties, you can go away for a long time. And what was the effect of that? The effect of that was that during the 8 years that I was in the Florida Senate, the crime rate in the state of Florida went down by 1/3. So we made a difference. When it came to taxes, you know, previously when the Democrats ran the state of Florida, they did the budget first, and then they raised the taxes to equal the budget. kind of the way they do it in Washington now. But we changed that, and we had some very significant tax reductions while I was there. That's when we came up with the first sales tax holidays. Thankfully, next month we're going to have another one of those for the first time in several years. But we had, where people, when they got ready to go back to school, they got a little break on the kids' clothes and the kids' school supplies. We got rid of a tax called the intangible tax. Many of you may not even remember that. But it was actually a tax on your savings and what you've made in your life, your investments. Wasn't a tax on what you earned or what you spent. It was a tax on what you had when you got ready to retire. And we got rid of that. And what I think is most important is we actually cut property taxes directly from the legislature. Now, there's been a lot of talk about property taxes the last couple of years and how they're going to drop like a rock. And some of them have, as a combination of the amendment we voted for and property values going down. But I get, because I have various properties I can't sell in different counties, I get trim notices from 5 different counties in Florida. Or because I have equipment in my businesses in different counties, I get trim notices in 5 different counties. And last year I looked through those trim notices, and the only property taxes that went up in those counties was a required local effort for schools, which is a property tax for schools, which is set by the legislature. They tell the school boards what the millage rate that they have to set in their counties so that we have a uniform funding mechanism for the schools. And that property tax is actually set by the legislature, and that's the only one for the last couple of years that's actually gone up instead of going down. So what's happened is the legislature up there now has told local governments, go cut your property taxes, but when it comes to their own property taxes that they set, those property taxes have actually been allowed to go up. They've mandated that they go up. So, when I was in the Senate, we tried to practice what we preach, and that's the kind of leadership that I want to take back to Tallahassee. We have a lot of serious problems in Florida. We have problems in our property insurance. God help us if we have a series of storms like we had in 2004 or 2005, because who's going to be paying those claims? Not insurance companies. We're going to be paying those claims and assessments on our insurance policies. So we got to do something about that. Our economy, we have seen in this recession the impact of having an economy that's based primarily on tourism and home building. Because when the home building stopped, the economy stopped. And when people don't travel because of gas prices or because of any other kind of factor, then we don't do as well because our economy is based on tourism. And one of the things that I want to do when we go back to Tallahassee is to help diversify that economy, help fill up a lot of those buildings along Overton Road, in that corridor, and I know many of you have probably worked there through the years. They used to have small machine shops and tool and die shops and different kind of manufacturing facilities that are gone now. And with them are the jobs that used to be a part of those businesses. And you say, well, we don't have money to spend to recruit businesses. I don't think we need to go out and spend $20 million for 200 jobs in these big hits. I think we need to pay attention to the small businesses. And let me give you just one example. We have 130 medical manufacturers in this county that make small little devices to be used in the healthcare, whether they be instruments or different things. Some of them even make pills here. 130 of them. And right now, those people are inspected every year by the Federal Food and Drug Administration from Washington, from the federal government. And they're also inspected by the State Department of Health. And a lot of those guys tell me that the State Department of Health inspections are a lot more troubling, a lot more burdensome, a lot more hindrance to them conducting their business than the federal inspections are. Well, I'm a bank director. And in the banking business, the state inspects you one year and the federal government inspects you the next year. And they alternate and they give each other the results of the examinations, so that you can look at what each of them is doing, and then they don't have to both come every year. It just makes sense to me that we could do little things like that to make the lives of people that are trying to do business in Florida a little bit easier, and thus try to encourage people to come in and produce jobs and set up jobs and hire people. And that's what I aim to try to do, is help our economy bring jobs in, one job at a time. That's the way I've created jobs in my history in business, is one job at a time. And this year, so far this summer, I've created one new job in my business, and that was a very, very happy day, you know, because we're getting back to where we were two, 3 years ago. So, you know, that's kind of an outline of my background. I am running hard. I don't have a primary. Very blessed that no other Republican decided to run against me. So all I have is a general election against a young lady who, as Eileen said, is an incumbent member of the Pinellas County School Board. And the one joint appearance I've had with her was very interesting because of some of the positions that she took. Not only was she for the Obamacare program, but she's for a lot of things that really don't fly in this district. And you know, I'm looking forward to the opportunity of campaigning and showing those differences. But I appreciate the interest that you folks have had in our political process this year. We appreciate you getting involved. And I look forward to meeting you and working with you. And I certainly hope that those of you that can vote for me that live on the other side of 66th Street will consider doing that. Thank you very much.